But now we need to expound upon the how. How are we going to do this? So, as SOC, I see it in the spirit realm that we are pregnant with destiny. So, because we're pregnant with destiny, we have to bear this child, this thing inside of our wombs, the wombs of our spirit, trusting and understanding that as we bear this fruit, we hold on to what's in our belly. We have to bring forth that great fruit. So the number one thing is the how. How do you do it? We know what to do. We know to leave an inheritance for our children and our children's children. That inheritance could be spiritual, it could be physical, it could be a financial blessing. But we have to understand that we bear fruit. So as we bear fruit, we need to bear great fruit according to Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 and 23. And it talks about the fruit of the Spirit. We have to have an inheritance that brings forth that love, that joy, that peace, that long suffering, that gentleness, that greatness, that faith, that meekness, and that temperance. Now, temperance is a problem for a lot of people because the flesh wants to control some things. So people get inside of what their emotions are, and not realizing that temperance is also known as self control, and we have to have that fruit. We have to have that fruit in order for us to pass it on to the next generation, so they can have that self control, that temperance, so our fruit can prevail. It can go on to our children, our children's children, our children's children's children, and our children's 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 children. 4 generations. We're not that far removed from slavery. 4 generations ago, well, somebody in my family was a slave, and she was actually owned. My great 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 was owned by. That's the thing. The generation go back. But we need to renew our minds and have different mentalities for the season that we're in. So let our fruit prevail. Now let's talk about fruit for a minute. And I was getting real deep in when I was studying for this because I needed to break down what fruit was. A fruit is a seed bearing structure and flowering plants that is formed from the ovary after flowering. That is a fruit. Now, in order for us to give birth on the earth realm, there needs to be seed and ground. So we plant that seed. Well, my dad, he's a gardener, master gardener, I would say. And he knows that the ground needs to be cultivated. He knows it needs to be tilled, turned up a little bit, so that every season he doesn't he comes with a great crop because he plants the seed in a different place each time. Certain seeds take from different minerals from the soil. The other ones give certain seeds give more minerals to the actual soil. So, in order to give birth to the earth to something that's planted in the earth, it needs to be on great ground. Now the ground must be fertile for production to be done. Now the seed is important, and we're gonna go a little deeper with the seed piece because seed is something small that produces something big. So we need to put that seed into fertile ground so that seed is never choked out. Now, we also, in order to build legacy, we must be fruitful. Now, I'm not talking about your physical womb, ladies. I'm not talking about bearing children in the physical, but what are you bearing in the spirit? What are you pregnant with in the spirit? What do you have to teach, preach, prophesy, lay hands on the sick, see them be delivered? What's your gift and what's your calling? You need to be fruitful. You don't want to be like that that in the parable where the of the talents, where the one only had that talent, that one talent, and then what they do, buried it. Don't bury don't bury the things that you're supposed to bring forth. Be fruitful. So that's the part of what's needed in order for you to build legacy, is for you to be fruitful. Now, according to Matthew chapter 13, verse 22, he also he also that receives seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and deceitfulness of riches choke the word. He becometh unfruitful. So we don't want to be unfruitful. We don't want our words to be choked out, the word to be choked out of us. So we don't need to be persuaded by what's going on with our bank accounts or our cupboards, uh, pantries. You know, your little walk-in pantry. You got your stack of all your your non-perishables. We should not be concerned about these things because always want to be fruitful. It's a season for everything underneath the heaven. So, but we become unfruitful when the word gets choked out. When we putting that seed into thorny places, it gets choked out. Now, let's go deeper into this seed piece, because when I'm studying about seed, I don't eat seedless fruit. I don't eat. I call it impotent fruit. I'm impotent enough. I'm in a wheelchair. I don't need to be eating no seedless anything. I need the seed. Give me the seed. Give me the seed. Because I know in the seed there is power. There's power in the seed. So this transgender movement is unfruitful. I guess they want this generation to be the last generation, because man could be woman, woman could be man, and all these different things. When you messing up what Yah has created, I created them male and female. You didn't create this or that. So why are you getting involved with Yah's business? Out of order. Let's go to this homosexuality piece, where homosexuality is a sin. Yes, and it's an abominable before the Most High. And he doesn't want to look upon this sin. But trust and believe this. And it solidified it to me, because okay, we could read homosexuality as a sin. Man not supposed to lay with a man like a woman lays with her husband. All these different things. But think about it in seed. Where is the production? Where is the fruitfulness in that? Homosexuality is not fruitful. You can bear no fruit in homosexuality. You can pleasure your flesh. You can appease your ego, but there's not a fruit. It's not a fruitful type of sex. Also, as I studied, I always study about different things. And what the homosexuality piece is a mismanagement of seed. You got too much seed or too much ground. You need seed and ground to come together in order for fruit to be produced. So it's out of order. Biologically, out of order. It's a pervertedness. It's a perverted seedlessness and fruitlessness. And it's unnecessary, unrighteous, unholy, and not according to scripture or the law. We know that scripture is law. It's against the law. Yeah. It used to be physically against the law. They used to think homosexuals had some kind of mental disorder. But we see it now as we're followers of the way and we follow Yahweh. We know that it's spiritually out of order. So there should never be shortcuts to production when we're talking about seed, right? A seed must be cultivated. Now, a seed in its flowering is a flowering unit of reproduction capable of developing another such plant. If I plant an apple seed, I'm going to get an apple. If I plant a orange seed, I'm going to get an orange plant. I'm gonna get orange. I'm gonna get oranges behind it. So your seed is a replication of parts of you. Let's go deeper. Everything, everything starts in seed form. Now, according to Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10, we shouldn't despise the small beginnings, the small things. Most seeds are smaller than the actual tree. All of the seeds are going to be smaller than the actual tree or the plant that is going to be come forth, and even the fruit. I don't know if anybody ever planted this, but people plant pineapples. See how big that pineapple actually is, but that seed is small. So in that small, we don't want to despise the small beginnings because small things grow into big things, right? Now, I oftentimes I pray for my little. The scripture says, little becomes much when you put it in the master's hands. So he's asking you for a tithe, 10%, right? But that tithe, that 10% is covering your 90. He wants to know that he can have the little. I dedicate my life to you. I may only live to be 114. That's a drop in the bucket. And as far as time is concerned, he created time. He created time. So I dedicate my life to you. That means 114 years. That's nothing to him. But in this little, it'll become much because of we're giving, what we're giving to him. He doesn't come back. His word doesn't come back void. He stands by his word because he is his word. And he's not going to lie to us. So your seed in the earth has to be cultivated by Yah so that you can bear great fruit. You have a generation of children with love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, greatness, faith, meekness, and temperance because of your seed was cultivated by Yah. Now, those things that I would just name, the joy, the peace, the long suffering, the gentleness, the greatness, the faith, the meekness, and the temperance, are fruits of the Spirit. So as we bear fruit for our generations, we must be cultivated by Yah in the earth. Let our seed be cultivated by Yah in the earth. So let's go deeper with the seed piece. Because I already told us in the beginning that we're pregnant with destiny. Now it's birthing season. It's time to bring forth all that is inside of you and what the Most High has implanted in you in the womb of your spirit. So your business is a seed. Your ministry is a seed. Your words are seed. Your life is a seed. That's deep. Everything starts in seed form, but you must give birth to some things. And we must be steadfast and long suffering in doing so. Now, and that seed, when that seed is buried, it's in darkness. And as it's in darkness, it sprouts out. And